Well, I wish that was the case, but if anything, they didn't really keep any of it in because it was so brutal. So I would have loved because me and Tessie were there for a lot of it, we saw it with our own eyes.
Yeah.
So the worst part of it is we're watching it back and it almost doesn't make sense because you see my mum get so emotional. You see all the other women being like, wow, I can't believe you said that. But then the viewer doesn't actually get to see what was said. So I think there's a lot of missing parts, but they can't have kept them in because it was so bad. Like there would be, you know what I mean? Like we've got to look out for my mum's mental health, and like you can't, like watching it, like when we were there in the day, we were like, how is this real? But so it's a shame. They really missed an opportunity here because I would have loved for everyone to see these nasty women in action. But if anything, it's a bit PG-13.
I think that's the disappointing thing, because on the actual, on episode 2, it was really, I've been in business a long time. I've got a CBE from the Queen. I've spent my life supporting young women in business and designers and stuff, and I've never experienced anything like it. And it was like a 3-hour grueling around this dinner table. And when I left, I was so upset. And I'm not joking. I have not cried in a business meeting or anything to do with work ever in my entire life. And here I was for the first time, hold my hands up. I was so taken aback and I was so vulnerable because I couldn't believe the stuff they were saying and how they were treating me and the things they were saying. So when I came back and Tessie was home, the girls were so shocked because they never see me get upset. I'm feisty, I'm Scottish, I'm, a girl with a strong backbone. But it was very different. And so for that, I feel that it's a bit disappointing because you see how vulnerable I am and you see how upset I am. In fact, the next day on one of the cuts, Tessie and I had a really long conversation, and I had got up in the morning, did my makeup, but then we had a really long conversation, and my makeup was all over my face, but they just cut straight to that scene. So it looked like out the blue, I was just sitting in the kitchen chatting to my husband with smudged makeup. But what you didn't see was Tessie and I going over the night before and discussing it. And so I just feel that, if you want the real drama, they missed a trick. They should have shown all these women for how they are. And you know what? I was a big crybaby, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, but I think that was a shame.
It's like Welcome to Housewives in the edit, right?
Yes. And I think that's something in my own naivety, perhaps, one just needs to get used to. Is I'm sure all of the women have got their own complaints about editing of particular scenes, but, that was just my gripe. But it is what it is,
Did you ever, did it ever get so bad? Did you ever think of quitting the show, during filming?
Yes, no, I did. After that particular episode, I spoke to the producers and I said, what, I didn't sign up for this. I think for me, the distinction is on series 1, the issues with Mia and I, it was a story that she told on camera. You could follow the debate. I had a particular opinion. She did a particular opinion. And because you followed it, you could understand it. So you could pick a team. You either thought I was being harsh, or you thought she was ridiculous, or whatever it was. What's happened here is I don't think the viewer can follow it, because suddenly I'm back and I'm very isolated and they've got a little group and you don't see the viciousness. You just see me getting really upset and you're like, really, is she crying over that? So I actually think, if you wanted that level of drama, then you have to show it warts and all. So, I think that is that's something that I have had to understand and come to terms with.
Do you think it would have been different if Jayne were still around and Hetty, the two that we lost? Do you think that would have been different?
I do. I like to think so. I think it was so overwhelming for all the women. I think it was overwhelming for Karen because she was new. And God love them, Karen and Mia came to see me the next day, 2 days later, and were really apologetic about not sticking up for me because it was hardcore. I think Jayne would definitely, I think we missed Jayne. She was a breath of fresh air. She was slightly crazy, super glamorous. And I would like to have thought that, yeah, Jayne would have went, you know what, enough. It is what it is. The good thing about having the girls and have full-time job, you go to work to do the show and then you come back to your real life and you go on with business of the day. So you you try not to dwell in it as much as I'm sure other people would do.
Totally. Who do you think has changed the most, from the fame? That's kind of hungry for the fame and is really, do you think?
I think they all have. I think Ashley's probably the one that's definitely different. just different. And I think that's a shame because, you know, but I think they've all changed.
But I think, if anything, I think the question shouldn't be who do you think's changed from the fame. I think who's changed from the not fame, because I think, if anything, I think they were all really disappointed that they weren't included as much as my mum was. So if anything, it was just like anger towards everybody talking about my mum and nobody talking about them. So it was like, you know, from my outsider, it was like, well, my mum's been doing this for, you know, 25 years. She's not just jumped in and Housewives is her first thing. They've all just come from, you know,
being a housewife.
Jersey cows. Like, so it's like, you know, give my mum her moment. If you want your own, you know, I don't know, Daily Mail story, go out and work harder. Like, don't be crying about it and trying to make up little scenarios. Like, get out there, work harder.
I do feel that, you know, Tallia's hit upon a great point. I do feel that life is what you make of it, and you've got to go out and take it. And, you know, the world and all the brands that I look after, their entire raison d'etre is on social media now. So, you know, we love it. We embrace it. It's part of our life. Your Instagram is a magazine to your life. And we work really hard at that. And if you're not going to work hard at that, and you're not going to get with the program, and you're not going to understand 2022 and go out for your lunch and not worry about that, or work hard at trying and raise your own brand, then that's your loss.
And I think my mom's being humble here. You know, at the end of the day, my mom's getting 5 million views on TikTok and she's posting, like, you know, 2 times a day on Insta. These women, you know, post once every 6 weeks and then cry about my mom getting a 10-page OK magazine spread. Like, let's wake up and work harder, baby.
That is, you do, right? I've seen some of your TikToks. That is the job, right? I mean, like, it's not fun to post on Instagram sometimes all day or TikTok, but this is, I mean, listen, if I didn't have this job, you would never see me on social media. I would just vanish, but it's the job. You have to do it. It's a full-time job.
And, you know, I think that's what they don't understand. And I think that's why the franchise is so different in the UK. But, you know, the Americans, they, you know, they take that with their open arms and they go for it and they understand that and they get it and they hustle and they work hard. And actually, you know, from my perspective, I want to be surrounded by women that are hustling and working hard and putting up Instagrams and, you know, turning up to film and going, wow, look, you look great, or whatever, you know. But so I think, you know, don't cry about it, just work harder.
And you think like it's a different culture in the UK, like they don't get it like we do here with posting?
Well, certainly a different culture in Jersey. I mean, I just don't think they get it at all, you know. I mean, I don't really want to see dogs and what you had for your dinner every night. That's not why I'm, you know, going to a food channel. I think if you are in, you know, in the world of media and entertainment and, you know, on a glamorous TV show, then you need to reinvent yourself. You need to come up, you need to serve the goods, you need to work hard. And, you know, perhaps that's easier for me to say because I work full time and I've been in this world for 25 years, but also I'm very grateful to be here because there's lots of women out there that could fill anyone's shoes. So I think no matter who you are or where you've come from, you've got to stay humble and work really hard to keep your spot. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.